Adrian Ma has departed overnight from Team Impulse. I'm here with Apollo for a more serious interview than we normally do, though. I don't know how serious I can be with you, but yeah. So yesterday we see this Twitlonger come out, and he says he's stepping down, but it seems unclear on if it was like his decision. Team Impulse later issued a Twitlonger statement because Twitlonger breaks more esports news than any other site on the internet.
It's an amazing site, right?
So many features. I'm so salty. Anyway, so then the Team Impulse statement, I believe, says something like, "Oh, we really like Adrian. We want him to come back on Wednesday." So what is actually going on behind the scenes, Apollo?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like how it said, though. He said that he was feeling a lot of pressure, and he felt that it was the best for him to step down, and that is what happened. Like, before we had like this big win streak, like we felt like pressure, and we are obviously holding tryouts, right? And so even like for me, like I felt a lot of pressure, but he didn't handle it as well. Like he's pretty young, and it's pretty understandable for him to like feel pressured when under an environment like that. Yeah. So I don't think like there's no like we didn't like force him to quit the team or anything like that. There's some kind of weird rumors, but it's just mainly the pressure of having like tryouts and having us maybe the possibility of not going to playoffs, not going to Worlds, and you know we're obviously a team that was kind of like destined to Worlds, right? Because we had like a kind of a superstar lineup almost. So I think it's just I'm good friends with him still. Like it's not anything bad. I hope that he kind of like grows from this and like matures a little bit more from this, and knows that the team wasn't trying to, like kick him off vote him off the island almost, right? It was just so that he can improve as a player and that we can improve as a team.
Okay, so then, but whose decision was it? Because you're saying like this was so that he could improve as a player and the team could improve, but if it was his decision, I don't know. It just sounds kind of strange.
It was his decision for him to step down. Okay, 100%.
And he felt like he was doing you guys a favor by doing this?
I mean, it seemed like I don't really know. I think what it comes down to is that he just felt pressured and that he may have not wanted to keep playing due to that pressure. Okay. Yeah.
And sorry to ask you questions because I know that it's hard for you to answer. If he was here, I'd be interviewing him. But it seems strange also to me that this happens. Like my immediate reaction was like, so Team Impulse goes on a 5-game win streak, and then there's a roster change that occurs. Why do you have any idea as to why this occurred, or he decided to step down following a 5-game win streak?
I was also surprised because I didn't really know. I mean, I knew we had Gate and that we were going to be trying him out and like seeing how things work with him, but I didn't expect him to just immediately step down before we even made like decisions. I mean, yeah, I didn't think that he would immediately step down, I guess. Okay. Even off of a 5-game win streak, I guess he still felt pressure and like he still felt like he was doing well because we had a 5-win streak. So I really don't know.
Okay. So taking a step back a couple of weeks, I mean, obviously, as you mentioned and as Rush confirmed in an interview with me, you guys were looking at doing tryouts, and actually they were happening. And then at a certain point, you guys brought Gate onto the team. Interesting situation is that he's not a support player, right? So what was the whole reasoning behind that? Because it seemed like you guys were considering like maybe replacing Adrian. I remember Rush saying it was at least in part due to communication issues and having a different shot caller. So why was Gate decided on, especially again not being a support?
We just felt like he had a lot. I'm not gonna use the players. Like Impact, Zhao Zhao, Rush, they saw him a lot in solo queue, and NA solo queue. I actually didn't even see him that much. So it was mainly like, those 3 players. They, saw him play support and mid, and they felt like he did a really good job. Like he knew how to control the map, like he had really good roams. And so we just tried him out, and we kind of knew him from his past teams. We actually like met him at some events, but we knew that his personality was good and he would be like a pretty good fit for the team. So we just, figured out, okay, why not try him out, right? And he did well in tryouts. I think maybe people tunnel a bit too much on having like him not necessarily main the support role. And yeah, of course, it's going to take a little bit time for him to train and get better. But we felt like he had the potential to do it, so that's why we went for him.
And what language does he speak? Obviously, because you guys are a multilingual team.
He speaks English and Mandarin.
Okay. So he can speak with Zhao Zhao then, but not with the Koreans, obviously. Is that... Will he ever be speaking... General manager is shaking his head. Will he ever be speaking Mandarin?
Not in the game, I don't think. Okay. It's just because it's not too useful. Because Zhao Zhao can understand our English, or like we've come up with terms that we're all going to understand, right? Yeah. So, you know, it's not that helpful. It's mainly just like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
You guys did have a close game with TDK there where you did win, but again, TDK yet to win a second game this season. So it felt like maybe it shouldn't be. Like I would consider like that win maybe a bad sign. Yeah.
To be fair, they're a pretty okay team. You know, like for being bottom of the standings, they're not awful. Okay. But yeah, okay. I'm saying, you know, they're getting better. I feel bad for them because they weren't given the right chance or the right opportunity to just play as a team that long. But yes, that game was very shaky. Yeah. It was not clean at all compared to our other games. But yeah, I think it's still good that we, you know, it was, yeah. It's just like a work in progress, I'd say. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but you guys also said that you want Adrian to come back this Wednesday. Mm-hmm. This is kind of his decision on whether or not he wants to come back?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the whole point wasn't so that we immediately replace him. It's so that they can both get better together, right? Yeah. It was meant to be a 6-man roster. It wasn't supposed to just be like we're replacing Gate with Adrian immediately and that's it. Yeah. It's not like we were never going to use Adrian again, but he felt pressured that way. So, and I don't think that's true. We wanted to have them compete and work together and get better as a team.
Okay. Do you think that this was because you said that there's pressure, do you feel like there was any component of it where he's like, oh, so you guys want like a 6th player, like somebody who can sub in for me, like I don't want to be a part of that? And do you think there was almost like a frustration or an anger on his part that there was another support that was going to be competing with him, kind of like Piglet Keith style?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can understand why he'd be frustrated, right? It's just the pressure, right? You don't necessarily want to have that pressure, especially when you're competing at such a high level, knowing like if you make a mistake that, you know, there's more than just the fans that are looking at you, it's also the team. So, and I don't think that's what he should be thinking, but that's what he ended up thinking. Yeah. And like I said, you know, I'm not Adrian. I don't necessarily know exactly what his his thought process was, but it wasn't meant to be like that. We wanted to have it as a 6-man roster, like I said, and that's just what it comes down to. Like people sometimes break under the pressure like that.
Okay. Now, so given your shaky game against TDK, how does the team feel going into its final week of LCS and then with playoffs on the horizon as well? Is this like because I think if I was a Team Impulse fan, which I'm not, but if I was on the Team Impulse subreddit or whatever, I would be. Do we have a Team Impulse? Yeah, all the teams have a subreddit, but way to care about your fan community.
That was a trick question. Yeah. I was just checking if you knew that we had a Team Impulse subreddit.
Well, I brought it up, so pretty obvious that I knew about it. Anyway, let's. So yeah, if I'm on the subreddit, I'm looking at that TDK game, and I'm looking at Adrian departing, and I'm like, this is happening now, right before playoffs, and I'm probably pretty concerned. What would you say to those fans? Are you also concerned? I mean,
I think by the time playoffs come around, we'll still be okay. Like, yeah, maybe Gravity and Team Liquid, they're 2 really good teams right now, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be hard games. I'm not going to, lie and say that we'll be fine, but I still think that we have enough time before playoffs come by.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, maybe we'll see Adrian come in on Wednesday. Is there anything that you would like to say to the fans out there?
Keep supporting us, and don't think too much about our roster changes. It's just, you know, I think we're still trying to grow as a team, and I think people are kind of blowing this up a little bit too much as it is. So yeah. All
right, well, thank you for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage of all things League of Legends at GameSpot.com/LOL.